Okay, this will seem off topic, but trust me, it'll make sense. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is certainly the game of all time. I don't mean that in a positive way, but it and its predecessor do have one good thing about them that's unfortunately lacked in this horrible package: gunfight. Gunfight is a 1v1 or 2v2 game mode where you battle it out with random weapons on a small map. It feels nothing like COD, but it's honestly a great experience. Well, some indie devs said, what if we make it a card game? So some of my friends recommended me the game Friends vs. Friends. This is an indie FPS made by a small studio for the low price of only 10 bucks. And both because this game is quality and the FPS landscape is so barren right now, this is probably one of the best of the year. Now before I get into why, I would appreciate it if you liked and subscribed, because then you'll be my friend. I love parasocial relationships. So before I talk about this game, I think we need to address the elephant in the room. Honestly, the UI is pretty good, but for real though, this game is a 1v1 or 2v2 FPS where the goal is to win a best of 5 elimination match. Everyone starts with the same pistol and your goal is to kill the enemy. Seems super simple, right? Well, that's where the main appeal of the game comes in: the cards and deck building. Each player starts the match with a few cards and draws some each round. These cards can do different things, such as give you a new weapon, use a piece of equipment, give you a buff, give your enemy a debuff, or even some weird things like nuking the map or making you into a bomb. There's dozens of cards to try with different interactions between them that can really make you into a monster. Not everyone gets the same cards though. You have to prepare your deck before the match and get new cards from opening packs. Each card is a different weight and you need 25 cards minimum, so you have to be careful about making your decks. And there's different characters that give you different abilities as well. Honestly, that's most of the game on a base level. It's pretty simple, but with mechanics like these, it's surprisingly deep. Now I want to highlight most of the positives first, because I have a lot more good to say about this game than criticisms and negative things. The first thing is hard to put objective qualities on, but this game just feels good to play. I'm sure you know how a bad FPS feels: sluggish, clunky, and unresponsive. But this game just feels smooth to play. The movement is nice and the gunplay is just really solid. Besides some rare occurrences here and there, I felt like the bad things that happened in rounds were fully my mistake. It just felt nice. And it's kind of hard to explain other than that. You just gotta play it for yourself to feel that. Another thing that isn't gameplay related is that this game has a ton of personality. I've played a good amount of indie FPSs with solid mechanics, but I ultimately forget them shortly after I close the game. One of the main reasons is usually that the game has no personality to it. Whether you personally like it or not, this game certainly isn't lacking that. The UI and the presentation are bright and colorful. There's a fully animated intro cutscene for the game. The little hub world you stay in with little nods and silly things around it add personality to an area you probably don't even normally pay attention to. The voice actors are eccentric yet surprisingly not annoying, which is hard to pull off sometimes. And one of the main appeals of the game comes down to the character design, which is really well done and distinctive for each character. And also this game kind of looks like Due Process, I'm not gonna lie. One thing that this game's marketing and even the game itself has hammered in is that the game is not pay to win. I know some people probably cringed when I said card game in the intro because of the negative connotation that it has with monetization practices. But this dev team has made nothing in this game pay to win, since the only way to get card packs is by playing the game. With the way gaming is right now, I commend this a ton, and even more surprising to me, this game has no microtransactions, period. You buy the game and that's it. An element that FPS games often get wrong is the maps. That's been one of the biggest problems with the COD franchise for years. I'm happy to report though that the maps in this game are actually pretty solid for the most part. I think the best one by far is Rooftops, which is a simple map where two skyscraper rooftops are connected to each other. The simplicity actually works in this map's favor, as it seems to allow the most dynamic playstyles out of all the maps. This is the best map by far, as you can tell by the fact that almost everyone votes this map on rematches. But the other maps are solid too. Subway Station takes place in a subway station. Duh. But it does have some nice, interesting ways to play with some vertical elements as well as trains. They can provide either new cover for the map or hit you and kill you. That can be really frustrating sometimes, but not enough to knock this map down a ton. Theater is a map that focuses a lot on vertical play, with various levels of platforms and elevators on one side of the map. This map seems to have the most chaotic gameplay out of all of them, which is both to its benefit and detriment. I still think that it's a solid map though. The worst map is probably trucks. This is a silly map as you're fighting on two moving trucks. You can use other cars to get around as well as knock your opponents off to kill them. My main issue with the map is those parts though. It feels like a lot of the time I'll die because of something to do with the map rather than the opponent. It's clearly a gimmick map, and considering all the other maps are good though, I can't really focus too much on it. Another cool aspect is the pure creativity of the card system. A lot of the lesser weight cards are simple stat changes, but some of the stuff that has higher weights are actually really cool. I mentioned nuking the map earlier, and that is actually a card. If you're stuck in a sticky situation that you need to get out of, you can just use this card to start in a completely new map and with a new position. One card I use a lot is called Heartless. Basically, this lets you throw your heart on the ground and you'll slowly lose health throughout the round. If the enemy tries to shoot you, then you won't take any damage. The catch? If the enemy shoots the heart you threw, then you'll instantly die. I love to use this card when I shotgun rush, so I can basically rush in with little repercussions. There's a lot of other cards like this as well. Outside of their designs, the characters are actually a really cool aspect of your kit. They aren't just a skin, they actually change a key aspect of your loadout. For example, the moose lets you start with a double jump. A few of the characters let you change your starting weapon to lower tier guns. The most notorious is probably the tiger, who has a katana which can be extremely deadly on close quarter maps like trucks. And then there's the most important two, the dog that gives extra health and the cat that gives you extra damage. It's like stopping power versus Juggernaut in COD 4 again. Anyways, I made the right choice of the cat. Now that I've showed my love for the game, I still do think there's a few things that could use a bit of work. There's 3 main criticisms I have for the game, and some more nitpicky stuff for later. Honestly, I think most of these don't bother me too much at the moment, but I just want to speak on these since the game can be even better than it already is. The main flaw in this game is that it doesn't really live up to its name. Despite being called Friends vs. Friends, it lacks almost any social aspect to it. There isn't an all chat, team chat, voice chat, or any of that. Bars. All you can do is friend a person at the end of the game, which you won't do since you know nothing about this person outside of gameplay, or report them. I think some sort of social aspect would really help this game live up to its name. An all teams text chat is probably the easiest solution, but I think the way COD does it is also really cool. You can voice and text chat with your enemies before the match, between rounds, and at the end. This would really help develop some good rivalries and promote rematches. I know with stuff like this, people will be toxic, but I believe the positives of some similar system to this will outweigh the negatives by a lot. One thing I would like to see improved is some of the balancing of the cards. I like how certain card combos can work together to make something really good, but some of the cards are just super frustrating. The most notorious is the no jump card, which makes it so you can't jump for 20 seconds, which considering how short rounds are, is a lot of time. Not to mention that on maps like Theater and especially Trucks, this one card can basically be your death sentence for the round. There's some other stuff such as the boomstick being really good, but balancing is obviously an issue that will change as time goes on. I think balancing stuff is tricky due to the sheer number of cards as well as each map having a different best playstyle, but I hope that there will be semi-consistent balance patches. My last thing that I would like to see is more content in this game. As of now, there's a solid number of cards and characters, which would be really cool to see increase over time, but the main thing I hope we get to see more of is maps. The maps are good, but the fact that we only have 4 right now might make the game a bit stale in time. This last criticism is already being addressed as I make this video though. There's an update coming soon with new cards and new cosmetics, so I hope regular updates continue for as long as this game gets support. And even if it doesn't, this game's only $10, so I can't really complain. Now it's time for the more nitpicky issues I have with this game. This stuff doesn't bother me too much, but if they ever get worked on, it would definitely make my experience playing the game better. First is something I can't really define, but it seems like the netcode can be a bit wonky sometimes. That's to be expected with these type of games, but it's noticeable and around here and there. The most common thing that's either related to this or a separate bug is that sometimes your enemy will just clip through the floor and back out. It happens sometimes and it catches me off guard. One thing I think could really use improvement is the spectating view in 2v2s. Right now there straight up isn't a spectating HUD. You don't see any info about your teammate, so it's not really a great viewing experience. Even something simple showing the health and cards would be nice to see. The hub world is a neat little idea, but it doesn't really serve much purpose right now. I only really use it to hop around while I'm searching for a match. If it's feasible, I would love to be able to be in the hub world with the person you're party with and perhaps just do things in there. Maybe some small little mini games or something. I know this is a glorified menu, but it could be cool. The last nitpicky thing I have is that the challenges are really insane right now. Some dailies are impossible to complete under normal circumstances without spending 2+ hours playing the game. For example, one challenge is pulling 20 weapon cards, but you only typically use about 2 to 3 per match. The weeklies can get even more insane, with some challenges like win 10 rounds without receiving damage. 10. I get that these are supposed to be weeklies and take a bit to do, but they gotta get scaled down a little. This game shouldn't be demanding me to grind like I'm playing Fortnite to get my challenges done. Despite these criticisms at the end, I would still recommend this game to pretty much any FPS fan. I've been having fun with it, especially since I haven't had a good new FPS to play in a while. And with a price of only $10 not even on sale, it's hard to not even give it a try. Friends vs. Friends gets the Chaos for Real seal of approval. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you liked and subbed. You can also join my Discord if you want more Chaos for Real content. Most of that will be me yelling at my friends, but it's still content. Thanks for watching. I'm Chaos for Real, and I'm friending out right now.